Hello Libra, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection, so we'll be pulling your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between the connection. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we've got your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, if anything, and leave what doesn't. Last thing, any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Libra, let's jump on in here. Let's start with looking at your side of this connection toward the person that you are dealing with. This is for Libra's side of the connection. Libra's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Let's see what Libra's energy toward this person is. Know your worth with reciprocity. And then you have surrender here. Interesting. Okay. So I feel like all that you're looking for in this connection is to get back what you give. I feel like you're not asking for too much. However, I feel like you are in this position where you feel like you are consistently being not reciprocated, maybe in terms of effort, in terms of love or respect or understanding or communication. And I feel like it's making it really hard for you to know your worth, because I feel like it's like you know what you're deserving of, but I feel like you're struggling to believe that you can have it in some way. And I think that specifically with this connection, I feel like for some reason it feels like there's an added level of complication here. But yeah, I feel like all you're looking for is getting back what you give. But let's see what this person's energy is. This person's energy toward Libra. Deja vu. So it's interesting, you've heard that saying, I'm sure, like they're like a broken record, or it's like a broken record, like just hearing the same thing over and over again. Well, this deja vu card is a scratched CD, and I feel like it's kind of a similar vibe where it's like the way that they act, it has become so familiar. It's almost as if like you're like, I'm surprised, but I'm not really surprised. And I feel like that repetitive behavior that you're experiencing in this person is the lack of reciprocation. Now, I feel like there's also this part of you that's holding on for the day that things get better, which is common and understandable, right? Especially when we put a lot into something, we don't just want to give up on it. But I feel like that's where that kind of like energy of knowing your worth comes in, is just knowing that you're not deserving of the love that you give when you show how valuable the love you have to give is. You are deserving of the love that you have to give like right now. And I feel like for whatever reason, it's like this person isn't, if there's no reciprocation here. And I think that that's left you, again, starting to maybe question your own worth, especially if you have poured a lot into it, because you're going, well, how come, what I have to give isn't enough? All right, truth of this connection here between Libra and this person. Love with codependency. There it is. There it is. Okay. Love versus codependency, or how love can turn into codependency. Codependency is a very common dynamic in relationships, but it's also a very unsustainable dynamic. When you're dealing with codependent relationships, you typically will get to a point where resentment and anger is so strong that it's really hard to continue with the connection in a healthy way. Now, codependency is this belief that it's basically this belief that we need somebody to be something for us, to be a certain way in order for us to be worthy of love. And when we find ourselves slipping into codependent habits, there's typically two sides of it. There's typically the role of someone who gives a lot, and then there's kind of the role of someone who takes a lot. And those relationships can sometimes stem from this belief that your worth and your value is dependent on how valuable you are to others. And I already said this because I said the love, you are not deserving of love when you prove how valuable your love is. You are deserving of the love that you give and the love that you deserve, like right now. And the right people will reciprocate that without you having to prove anything. But I feel like there is maybe a deeper dynamic that seems to show up in your relationships that causes you to get to this place where your cup is completely empty because you've poured so much into people who aren't doing the same for you. And that can start to be really hard and difficult when we start to wonder why we can't have the love that we deserve and desire when we give so much of it out. So let's dive into this deeper. This is for Libra's side of this connection. You have reciprocity here. Libra's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. I struggled with codependency for most of my life and in most of my relationships. It was really all I knew relationships to be, and I would always wonder why I'd get to a place in a relationship where either like I had nothing to give, or I would just get like really bored, or I would, it just like the relationship would always die out. And it's because I learned that I was looking for the relationship to provide me with a sense of feeling lovable or feeling good enough or feeling good about myself. And nobody can do that for us consistently. And the more that we search for that in another person, the less we're actually going to find the love that we deserve. So I feel like there's a lot here. Oh, Four of Pentacles in reverse. Is there anything else here that Libra needs to know? Because I feel like this is kind of this energy of, there's the Lovers in reverse. Okay. And then Queen of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. So there are opportunities for you to be loved in ways that you maybe aren't even aware of right now. But right now, I feel like you're struggling to love yourself in the ways that you're desiring to be loved. And I feel like this person is a reflection of the ways that you lack love for yourself. Now, let me break that down. Typically, when we're dealing with someone that isn't choosing us or isn't valuing us or isn't loving us or isn't respecting us, and we, invest in that connection time and time again, there is typically this reflection of some way that we are not choosing, loving, valuing, or respecting ourselves. And sometimes we are taught that we need to self-abandon or we need to self-betray in order to be valuable to another person. I think that especially in today's society, we're kind of taught that like having needs makes us more of a burden, and that it's just better if you don't have needs, if you're just the cool, person that, can put up with anything. Your needs are not a burden to the wrong people. Your needs are a burden to people who don't value you appropriately. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that when we get so stuck in the role of being the giver, where we feel like we need to give in order to be to receive even like a minuscule amount of what we gave. And that, you know, is a result of us believing that we have to show our value and prove our value and be valuable to other people in order to be deserving of receiving love back. But you absolutely, that isn't true. So this connection is a reflection of the ways that you believe you are unlovable. And I feel like this connection makes you feel very unlovable in a lot of ways. And the ways that this connection makes you feel unlovable, it's not showing you that you are unlovable. It's showing you that there are parts of you that believe that you are unlovable and undeserving of the love that you have to give. So this connection and the dynamic in this connection, I feel like runs pretty deep. But let's see, this person's energy toward Libra, you have deja vu here. This person's energy toward Libra, please. Okay, 6 of Cups, Ace of Swords in reverse, King of Cups, and 5 of Swords. Okay, this connection, this person, I feel like this is someone who's been in your life for a while, or that you've spent a lot of like time and effort on. And I feel like the more that you try to love this person, it feels like the more that they actually push you away. In a way, with this 5 of Swords, you could be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but I do feel like this person like pushes you away a lot, or like has a really big wall built up that I feel like a lot of your time and energy goes towards like trying to knock that down. And with this Ace of Swords in reverse, it feels like this person is really struggling to see the role that they play, or like the ways that they're doing this. Like I feel like there's a lack of awareness here in how they are handling this connection, which probably means there's a lack of accountability, which probably means the burden seems to fall on you. You know, how you can do better, how you can change, how you can evolve, how you can love them more. And I feel like that then makes you wonder why, no matter how much you try, or no matter how much you try and change, like why this isn't working, or why you can't get this connection to get to a healthy place. And the biggest part of that is that this person isn't, it takes two. Any 2 people in this world can make a relationship work, but it takes both people willing to do the work to make that happen. It takes 2. And it feels like this person playing their part. Like they're not doing what they need to do, and maybe they're making you feel guilty, or feel like you're asking for too much, or make you feel bad for having needs or having desires. And know that you are not asking for too much when you are asking to be treated well, to be loved well, to be respected and chosen, and all of the things that you're not getting from this person. Like you're not asking for too much. You might be asking the wrong person. I'm not saying you are, but you might be, if somebody refuses to reciprocate. Truth of the connection between Libra and this person. Codependency. Let's see. The Hermit in reverse. I feel like this connection makes you feel really lonely. It's almost like you feel as if it is all on you here. And I think that makes you wonder, like, okay, and you're trying, I feel like you're trying a lot, like you're investing a lot in this. I feel like it makes you wonder, like, how come no matter how hard you try, it's not enough? But I feel like it is enough. I just feel like it's almost like you're looking at this backwards. Like I feel like you're looking at this from this place of like, why am I not enough? Instead of looking at this from this place of like, is this person enough? Like, are they giving me enough? Because you are absolutely enough. You always have been, always will be enough. But the people who aren't willing to be for you what you deserve will make you feel like you're not enough. Because they will make you feel like there's something wrong with you, or that there's something that needs to be fixed about you in order for you to be loved well. And that is never true. You are deserving of love as you are right now. That doesn't mean we don't want to try and always grow and evolve and expand, but it just means that there isn't some future version of you that's more worthy of love. You are worthy of love as you are right now, and you don't need to prove that to anybody. But let's get an overall theme of this reading for you, Libra. Inconsistencies. I mean, I could have told you that. And that's, I feel like what, and then, yeah, someone has unmet needs. And then this one says detour. I feel like there's so, it's interesting because I feel like you're very consistent in this connection. I feel like you're showing up in the best way that you can. I feel like you're trying to be for this person what you know to be. And I feel like you're just not getting that same energy back. And I feel like you're experiencing a lot of inconsistency from them. And I'm not sitting here saying you've been perfect and this person sucks, okay? There's always a role that we play. But I also think that, you know, there is this energy of really questioning why you're not enough. And the answer is that is not that you are not enough or that there's anything that you need to do to be enough for this person. The answer to that is that this person isn't valuing what you are providing enough to reciprocate it. So deep stuff. I just did a Gemini reading before this too that got pretty deep. But let's see what we've got here for you, Libra. All right. This is for Libra's energy toward the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. Well, here you are as the Empress, and then there's that Four of Pentacles in reverse again. So, you know what? You might have felt as if you had the rug ripped out from under your feet in this connection, almost as if this person did something that completely took you by surprise. I feel like, yeah, because there is the Chariot in reverse, the Eight of Wands in reverse. I feel like you're like, what the hell? I feel like this person really did some things that just completely threw you for a loop here. Yeah, because there's a sense of loss. And I feel like the hard part, and then there's the Five of Cups. I feel like the hard part is that you gave and gave and gave. And I feel like when we give and give and give to our relationships and then the other person leaves or they walk away and choose somebody else or whatever the case is, our immediate reaction is going to be, what was wrong with me? Like, why was I not enough? Or why did you not think I was deserving of being chosen? Now, in this connection, you could have also been the one to walk away here. That could have been you that made the decision to say, you know, whatever the case is. That doesn't mean that there's not a sense of loss here. It doesn't mean that there's not this sense of disappointment that things didn't work out the way that you wanted them to, but I do very much feel as if the way that you're looking at why things didn't work out needs to be different, because things didn't work out in this connection because you're not enough or because there's something about you that needs to be better in order for you to be treated or loved well. In fact, I actually feel as if what you had to give, this person straight up couldn't match. It's like they couldn't match the level of love and compassion and energy. That it's like they couldn't meet you where you were at. Now, I do also feel like with where they're at, there's probably a lot of understanding and empathy for this person's situation, which might be why you were willing to give so much, especially if you knew, like, if this person has struggled with relationships in the past or if they struggle to believe that they're worthy and deserving of love, like, whatever the case is. But none of that means that they are more deserving of love than you are. In fact, I feel like what this connection is really teaching you is to separate your value from the way that other people's value, the way that other people value you. That is kind of the core of codependency, is when we believe that our value is dependent on other people perceiving our value. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to do what we can to be valuable for others instead of knowing our value and acting in according to that by setting boundaries or communicating our needs or even maybe sometimes walking away when necessary. So I do feel like you have every right to be disappointed and to feel a sense of loss in this connection. But I also encourage you to change the way that you're viewing it and to look at it from this place of, it's not that I wasn't enough for them, it's that they weren't enough for me. Now, a lot of fear might creep in there to say, like, well, what if I never attract anything better? What if that's as good as it gets? What if nothing, ever replaces that? And that fear often is actually what causes us to accept less than what we deserve, as we don't think that anything better will ever come along. So it's natural when there is a separation or a loss of less than what we deserve for us to fear that nothing better will ever come along, since that was the fear that kept us accepting less anyway. See how that kind of works? So right now, you might be facing a lot of those emotions, the wondering if you're good enough, the wondering if you're ever going to have the love that you deserve, the wondering if things are ever going to get better for you. And the answer is absolutely they can, but there are some things that need to be healed and addressed that are coming up through whatever this connection is showing you. Because I do feel like this connection is happening for a reason. I do absolutely believe that, though I am a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, especially and most importantly, the more painful things in our life. But I think that Spirit is really asking you to not look at this from this place of you not being enough, but to look at this from this place of this person not being enough for you. So that you can walk away from this knowing that you're deserving of more, not that this is proof that you're deserving of less, which I think we often have a tendency to take to look at things. Well, the first way we view any situation is through the lens of our fear, our insecurity, our doubt. And when we struggle to believe we're deserving of love, and, we say we accept less than what we deserve, and then that person ends up screwing us over anywhere, we're going to go, wow, I was even settling for less than what I deserve, or I was putting up with so much in this connection, and then they still didn't choose me. That can make you feel even worse. But this isn't a reflection of what you are or who you are or what you're deserving of. This is a reflection of what you believe you're deserving of, which means working on the way that you view what you deserve in love, I feel like is going to be the most important thing for you. Because especially if you tried to love and love and love this person and they just kept trying to push you away, or they would create space, or they would ghost you, or they would put up walls, or whatever the case is, like, you are then dealing with someone who isn't willing to accept all that you have to give, which at the end of the day is more their loss, right? Because you're like, wow, I had so much to give this connection, but this person wasn't willing to take it. And it's like, well, they're the ones not letting you love them. And if they're not going to let you love them, they're not going to be able to love you, because people can only give and receive love to the extent they love themselves. And if they love themselves, they would accept all you had to give, right? And therefore reciprocate. But let's see. Let's get more about this person. I just feel like this is a very defensive person. Someone who is very quick to protect themselves. Quick to maybe even assume the worst in people. Oh, Temperance in reverse. Frustrated. Oh, you're frustrated. That's for sure. This person's energy. The Death. Oh, they're frustrated with this ending. They're frustrated with this ending. They want a new beginning. Okay. But what? But they haven't healed. The Star in reverse, the Seven of Swords, nothing's changed. See, here's the thing. When you're dealing with a giver-taker dynamic, givers eventually are not going to have anything left to give, right? Givers are going to get to this place where they're like, I can't give anymore. But takers can take all day long, right? So when takers are no longer receiving what they want to take from the givers, then they're going to go, well, what the hell? Like, where's my stream of energy? Where's my stream of effort and love? Like, I got used to that. And I feel like this is what's interesting. I feel, Libra, like you put your foot down here. I actually feel like you did. Whether it was you put your foot down and then this person walked away, or you put your foot down and you walked away, I don't know. And honestly, I don't think that part really matters in terms of the cycle. But I feel like you put your foot down and you said, no, I need more. I deserve more. I feel like this person's frustrated with that. I feel like they don't necessarily like that, because I feel like they got really comfortable with what you were giving this connection. Now, they want things to go back to the way they were, I feel like is the biggest thing. But what you need to know is that you don't want things to go back to the way that they were, because the way that they were was you receiving so much less than what you deserve. And if they haven't healed and there's no change here, then things would just be the same. That's where the deja vu is coming from. It took me a while to piece this together. That's where the deja vu is coming from, is this person, they want to go back to how things were. They want, what's wrong with the way that things were? And you were like, well, I'm over here drowning. Like, my cup is empty. I have nothing left to give. I'm not going back to the way things were. So that's where you kind of have this decision to make, and that's where I feel like this codependency really comes into play, is sometimes we have a tendency to start to feel guilty when we choose our needs. When we start to say, this is what I want and I'm deserving of more, we start to believe that when we start to believe we're deserving of more and we start acting like it, we're going to start to second guess. We're going to go, oh, am I asking for too much? Or, should I just accept what this person has to give? Like, blah, blah. And I feel like the answer is like, no, like you don't want to go back to how things were in this connection. They do though. They want to go back to how things were. But I also feel like what's the most important for you here is to understand and look at this from that perspective of, because it's not, you don't want your worth to be validated by the fact that they want to come back to this, because your worth is not dependent on how much you give. Your worth is dependent on what you decide it is, and you need to decide that it's more than what this person has to give you. And maybe that's just raising the bar and being like, sure, like I'll let you back into my life or we can do this again, but if things don't change, like I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Or maybe you've already reached that point. I don't know. But I do definitely feel like this person is frustrated, but there's no change. It's like they're like frustrated that things can't just be the way that they were. They're like, well, what's the big deal in that? You're like, well, you're not in my shoes, the one who's pouring their heart and soul into a connection or into someone that just isn't dealing or isn't reciprocating. So I don't know. I don't like it, especially because I feel like, if you do kind of have a bit of a weakness for this person, I feel like this could be something that especially if there is a codependent dynamic and you believe that their happiness, is your responsibility, which it absolutely is not, then, you might have a tendency to kind of lower your boundaries and go back to this. And I feel like it's like, but you don't want to go back. I feel like you might be like, yeah, I don't think you want to go back, Libra. So just keeping your guard up, I think, is important with this person in particular. Keep your standards high. I think that's the biggest thing here. Keep your standards high. The right people in your life are absolutely worth waiting for. But sometimes they're on the other side of kind of dealing with people that aren't capable of meeting those standards. And the quicker and the more that we're able to stay aware and stay strong in what we need and say no to the people that aren't able to provide us with what we deserve, the more that we are going to actually attract the right people. And again, it's not that you weren't enough for them, it's that this person isn't enough for you. You deserve to receive the exact same thing you have to give, and this person isn't in a position to be able to do that, which means nothing would change, which means you just go back to the same thing, the same deja vu, broken record. And I don't think you want that. But in between this connection, we're going to dive a little bit deeper. You have codependency with the Hermit in reverse. We're going to look at the deeper purpose of the connection, the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self, is kind of that unbiased truth I was talking about at the beginning. Thank you so much, Libra, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Libra.